Do you ever have trouble finding words to express what you actually want to say? Maybe you are feeling something, it's hard to put into words. Maybe you're thinking something that's hard to put into words. I find that sometimes things are just not very clear. I'm not even sure what I'm thinking or feeling. Other times, I am really quite sure and quite clear within myself, but finding words doesn't happen for some reason. There's a gap between the perfectly integrated nonlinear complexity in here and trying to translate that into words in a linear sentence that another human being is likely to understand. So, welcome to today's video. I'm not sure what we're talking about yet. It's a bit of an experiment because I've realized a lot of the time I spend so much time and energy simply on that translation process. I am essentially I just write and jot down all of my ideas and have this entire massive jumbled mess of everything that is attempting to come up with my idea that I'm trying to share with you. And naturally, once I've downloaded my brain onto a page, that's fine for me because I understand it, but what it does not do is communicate it clearly to someone else. Because in order for that to happen, I need to decipher the jumbled mess into something coherent. So I'm curious if you find a challenge like that as well, where just finding words is a challenge. I know that some people I know in the autistic community in Melbourne, for example, and you're listening to them tell a story or explain something, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to follow what you're saying. What are you actually saying? What's the point of what you're saying? And part of me is like, can you get to the point? Why are you telling me that you brushed your teeth at 7:24 in the morning? What has that got to do with the story? And the answer is, it has nothing to do with the point of the story, but in your brain, it's all linked. And so if you want to tell me that you saw a pretty bird on your walk in the morning, when you try and access the story, it starts with, well, I brushed my teeth at 7:24 a.m. And it's all to do with how things are linked in your brain when you're telling the story. But as a listener, it's really confusing because a lot of that information isn't actually relevant. And I'm realizing I do this a lot. I often describe my speaking process like a barrel of monkeys. I'm literally like pulling the next one and hoping it like catches the one under it. And if I just keep talking, I'm hoping that I'll eventually get to the point of what I'm actually trying to say, because I understand what I want to say. And for some reason, I can't start with the most important thing. Probably the best way of communicating would be to say the most important thing first. So I'm setting your expectations. I'm putting your brain into the right frame to understand everything else that's about to come after that. But instead, what I do, I've realized, is I start speaking and there's probably 10 or 15 seconds worth of my brain trying to grasp the point of the sentence. And so even though it's a grammatically correct sentence a lot of the time, the point of the sentence tends to come at the end. And what that means is very often the person listening spends 75% of the time waiting for me to get to the point and not knowing where I'm going with the sentence because I'm just sort of building up. It's like, oh, I've got something very important to tell you. The other day when I was going for a walk and blah, 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 this happened. I could have just started with the most important thing, except my brain doesn't work like that. And partly, I kind of want to apologize, sort of, for my videos. Like, a lot of it is me trying to find words to express the thing. And the only way for me to do that, it seems, is to practice. And if I've said something before, if I've said something 100 times, then I know how to say it fairly intuitively because I've had practice and my brain's figured out a very efficient way to say the thing. However, if that's not the case, if it's a new idea that I've worked on myself and I haven't had significant practice actually explaining it and communicating it to another human being, then what happens is when I first try to do that, I just blank, wall. What do I say next? How do I make what I'm saying match what's actually on the inside? Because it's so clear in my head, and then I'm listening to the words as they're coming out of my mouth, and they just do not capture the depth of clarity that my brain has. So you'll notice in this video, I haven't really stopped talking. I haven't really allowed myself to stop talking. And one of the reasons for that is that when my brain is on task, it's so much easier to keep going with the next thought. But if I stop and have to start again, then what happens is it takes a while to figure out how to continue. I've just thought of an analogy at the moment because I play the piano a little bit, right? And because I don't read music very much, like I can read it to learn something, but then when I play, I don't use music. And there are certain break points in the songs that I know how to play, and I can start here and keep going, and I can start here and keep going. But in the middle, it's like, could you recite the alphabet starting at G, right? It's easy to start at the start. There's points in the middle where you could start there and keep going, but you can't always start exactly where you want to start. Sometimes you have to go back a little bit and start at a known start point, and then G, H, I, J, K, and then it can go fairly easily after that. Is there anything else I wanted to say in this video? Maybe not. Maybe as soon as I stop recording, then the next thought will come. But I think the main point, and I'm going to reiterate the main point for the purpose of, if I do that, I will probably think of something else even more insightful to say. The main thing is it's really difficult. It takes so much energy to communicate. This is why I personally do not like written communication. I can't just write a quick email because my first attempt will be terrible. It will not say what I want it to say. It will not be understood well by the other person either. So it's not perfectionism here. There's a little bit of that maybe because I want to say exactly what I want to say. But even if I just wrote it out once and sent it straight away, it's something to do with how my brain processes information that it's not always clear when I just say the first thing that comes to mind. Sometimes, if the barrel of monkeys is working correctly, I hope it's been reasonably clear today. Ironically, the clearer it is today, the less effective this video will be because you're not seeing the challenge that I usually have when I try and express myself. But it means emails take forever. It means a 2-second reply to a text message takes forever. It doesn't really take forever. 2 seconds might take 5 minutes. But instead of 2 seconds here and 2 seconds here and 2 seconds here, it's 5 minutes here and 5 minutes here and 10 minutes here. And then pretty soon, I've responded to 4 messages and I've used up all of my executive functioning resources for the day just saying, yeah, that sounds good, I'll see you tomorrow. I didn't really have a point. Or maybe I did have a point, but the point will come later. So I will leave it there. I hope that's been interesting. I'm really curious to hear how your brain processes information. Like, is it easy for you to communicate? Is this a really common autistic trait that one of the challenges is communicating with another human being? Because I can do it. I've demonstrated that I can do it very well, but the energy that it costs means that I often don't. Or when I have low energy, I do it poorly. So I'll leave it there. Really curious to hear what you think. Tell me if you want me to try and do more videos like this where I haven't planned it in advance and I don't really have a point in advance. My brain has a point, but I just don't know what it is until I say it, and then I will know what it is at the end, and then maybe I can figure out what to call this video. And speaking of doing things last minute without a plan, how would you like to have a chat on Zoom, like right now, like in literally a minute's time when this video ends after the premiere? Follow the link in the description and we'll jump on Zoom. So that's a little thank you to everyone who is watching the premiere live, and I will see you then soon. Bye.